Welcome back to the Rays franchise rebuild. I can't believe it. We're already in 2030. We disappointingly have yet to make the playoffs. If you've watched the seasons prior to this, you know that we've run into some really frustrating last couple months of a few seasons where we're in, division lead or close to it or in a wild card spot, and then we get screwed with injuries, or guys get cold just out of nowhere and things fall apart. But we're turning the page here. We've started to really ramp up the squad. We're going to be taking on the Rockies, and Edward Cabrera is on the Rockies. So we're actually going to put Bryce Miller in on opening day. That way we can watch somebody besides Shane. I think they're interchangeable. I'm just doing it for fun to be able to watch another starter on opening day. So yeah, let's. I went through the budget at the end of the last episode. I'll just show it here quickly. We're at 241 million with a couple guys that are very likely to move, especially Joe Ryan is on the hot seat. But we do have quite a few guys locked up for the rest of this rebuild, and I think these are all really good moves. I feel very confident. Who knows? I felt confident about Joe Ryan back then, right? And then he just regressed out of nowhere. So let's go ahead and look at the rotation. Miller, McClanahan, Fredrickson, and Pyle, who were both rookies last year. Fredrickson actually was the better of the two, 3.67 ERA. He still has more room to grow as well and get better. Aaron Pyle, obviously he has a potential. He's only 22, so he's going to get better. So he settled in at a 4.08 ERA. The whip's a little high, 134. His hits per nine is kind of low, but his Ks per nine and his walks per nine are really good. And so I'm hoping for more of a breakout from Pyle. And then another rookie that we had last year was Dylan Lesko, who had 116 innings. He was in a relief role for a while at a 3.7 ERA. Joe Ryan is actually starting in long relief, and he's on a short leash because we've got Emerson Hancock we could bring up, and we've got other prospects that we could bring up in his place because he has regressed out of nowhere very rapidly. Brito, Romero, Henriquez, Rasmussen, Joyce, those are all familiar names. And the new closer, is the side armor, Luis Fernandez. We faced him opening day last year, and he looked so cool. So I was willing to give up one of our best young pitching prospects last episode to get him in because he just looks awesome. And he's so fun to watch, a side armor. He was, pretty good last year, 3.18 ERA, 70 innings, 25 out of 30 on save opportunities. I think he can do better than that. I think this is like reliever of the year candidate. He's on a renewable contract. If he rocks it this year, he'll be our closer for the rest of this rebuild, and we'll pay him. We'll lock him down. So that's the rotation. Here is the lineup. Figueroa is going to be in the first spot, and he had a 388 on base percentage last year. So that's why I want him in that spot. And then Xavier Edwards, I've talked about him before. He's a monster driving guys in with singles and doubles in the gap with his contact and his clutch and his speed as well. He was another guy I looked at in the leadoff spot with how high his on base percentage is, but I also want his other attributes to be able to come into play for him to be able to drive in runs. But this is flexible. Riley Green's going to be in the 3 spot for us. Look at his contact versus righties. 98. Graham Williamson's going to be batting cleanup. Sean Noel in the 5th spot. And a rookie, Chris Samuel, is going to come in. He plays outfield. He looks awesome. 22, 76 overall. This is going to be his first season. He's kind of on potentially rookie of the year watch. I don't know if he's going to be that good. I'm not sure if there's been like generational prospects picked on other teams. I haven't been as tapped in on that. One concern with Samuel is his durability is 60. So we do have Dante Nalo that can come in if we need to, and we've got plenty of guys that we can put in his spot, or we could trade if we had to fill him in. Perez out in center, Torres last year at second, and then Rocchio is going to be starting at short. Now, there's really one main guy on the bench that I want to talk about, and that's Carson Williams. So we're committing to Carson here. He's going to play Gold Glove defense at short once he gets that spot. He can also play second base. So if we end up moving off of Torres and or Rocchio, he can fill into their spot, right? So that's part of the strategy. He's also out of options, so I can't send him down to the minors. So we've got him up here for the long haul, and I'm hoping that he can continue to develop. I'm surprised at how slowly he developed for having A potential. I think it's low A potential, but we've had him since year one, and he was like, I forget what his overall was back then, but I feel like he's only gone up like 2, maybe 3 overall per year. I would have expected a little bit more, but that is our lineup versus righties versus lefties. It's similar, but I did put Xavier Edwards in the 1 spot here, Figueroa in the 2, Williamson in the 3, Green in the 4, Nolo, who mashes lefties, 67 contact, 85 power, Shanuel, Torres, Perez, and Rocchio. So Samuel is on the bench right now versus lefties. Actually, that I may look to adjust that, but I want to give Nolo some time up there. So, but yeah, Samuel's here. So that's where we're at. I think we're flexible in a lot of ways. I've kind of got backup plans within the system already if things go poorly. That's part of having our high payroll is we've got some backup plans in there. And I think that's everything I wanted to go over. So let's go back, and it's a little bit of deja vu. I think we faced the Rockies in the very first opening day, the first episode. So let's get back into watching some baseball as the Rays should be one of the best teams in the league going into 2030. Rays, Rockies, opening day at the Trop. There are the fellas. And there is an old friend. Haesung Kim is a Rocky. I'm excited for opening day. If you're interested, I'm going to supercut this in the actual franchise video. But I also am going to do like a full play-by-play for our opening days and have those separate as videos. If for some reason you're interested, it's more for me to practice play-by-play commentary, but they'll be available if anyone wanted to listen to them or fall asleep to it maybe. But back to the game. Rays, Rockies. Rockies were really bad last year. I think they won like 60 games, and we should be one of the better teams in the league. Anything's possible, but I'm hoping for some fireworks here on opening day. Here is some of our highlight players: Edwards, Samuel, Williamson, Green. These are the guys that the sim has us projected, and we are projected to be first in the AL East. So let's hope that comes true. Bryce Miller's going to take the hill. He was a big offseason signing for the Rays, our largest free agent signing ever, even greater than McClanahan way back in season 1. McClanahan has started opening day for us for every single year so far, but I want to shake it up and have Bryce Miller come in. He won the Cy Young in 2028, so 2-2. And that is blooped into center field. Perez coming in, diving, can't make the play, and that gets past him. Right fielder comes over to pick it up and get it in. But that is going to be a leadoff double that the rosters have really turned over a lot now, 6 years into this rebuild. Guys have moved around as Sal Frelick gets into that one, and that's lined into the gap. Perez hunts it down, but that's going to go all the way to the wall. Gets that in to the cutoff man, and back-to-back doubles for the Rockies to start opening day. Bryce Miller getting hit around a little bit. Now stepping in is Tommy Leverett, who lines that one to center. That will be able to be caught. Perez going to third, and the runner tags throw is offline, so he will get into 2-2 to Washington. And that is another base hit, and that's going to drive in a run. The Rockies have quickly put up 2 here. And he's going to get Veen to pop out to Riley Green. Our first look at Riley Green in a Rays uniform as he secures that one. And that'll be 2 outs in the top of the first. Rockies have been able to put up 2. And the 1-1 to Amador, that is hit hard out into center field. A lot of good contact for the Rockies. They're able to put up 2 in the first. Let's flip it over to the Rays. See what they can do at the plate. Edward Cabrera is the Rockies' ace. The starter on opening day had a 3.82 ERA last year. Record of 6-16. High walk rate, but a fairly high strikeout rate as well. And Steven Figueroa is going to lead off on opening day for the Rays. Edward Cabrera is a guy whose primary pitch is a changeup, and I believe in real life he can get this thing up to like 95, and it tunnels well with his sinker as Figueroa draws a leadoff walk. Here's the 2-2. The runner's going. That misses in. Throw down to second, and he is safe. Rebuild as Edwards grounds out to first, an easy tag for the first baseman, but that will move the runner to third. And now the first at-bat for Riley Green. Green is the most the best bona fide hitter as he strikes out in his first at-bat. Good high fastball, 98 from Cabrera. Green's the best overall established hitter that we've signed in this rebuild. By far. How is he that far in front on 98? And here's the 1-2. And he swings and misses at that changeup slider in the dirt. And Cabrera's able to work around a leadoff walk. Let's see if Miller can have a little better second inning of the year. And that is crushed into left center. Perez tracking it to the track, and he's got it off the other side of the plate. And there's a strikeout. Bryce Miller, first strikeout of the year. Kevin Alcantara going down. That's more like it. 2 away. Isan Kim had a great year last year. Looks like he had limited playing time, though. 3-2. And popped it up. Center field. A lot of action for Perez. And he catches that one. So onto the bottom of the second. Better inning there from Bryce Miller. Struck him out. Miller strikes out the side. Bouncing back from a shaky start in the first to strike out the side here in the third. Fastball's just up. Good take by Beck. Count is full. Payoff pitch. Right down the middle. But that's popped up by Jordan Beck. Green settles under it. Makes the catch. Shawano hits that hard, but right to the third baseman. Quick 1-2-3 for Cabrera as he continues to dominate. Miller delivers. Just missed down with the splitter. Bryce Miller to Sal Frelick. Runners going, and it's a little hit and run. Frelick is going to get that into left field, drops in front of Green, who at least keeps it in front of him to prevent extra bases. But with the hit and run, the runner on first makes it all the way to third as Frelick does a little dance. This is a big spot in the top of the fifth. Fastball's up and in, but it's in there. Struck him out. Good work by Miller to get around those two base runners. Pitch. Swung on and grounded up the middle somehow. Second baseman jumping. Throw gets him. Great play by the second baseman. I don't know how Perez made contact with that as the Rays still only 1 hit through 5. It's a clean inning so far for Brito. 2 away. Top of the 6th. 2-1 count to Amador. And that is grounded up the middle. Diving play by Rocchio. Throws over to first, and he got him. What a play by Rocchio, flashing the leather. Let's take another look at that one. Full extension. Secures it, and a quick transfer. Throw in from his knees. And he hits that hard into the gap. Cut off by the center fielder, but 103 off the bat from Rocchio to get things started in the bottom of the 6th. I feel like that was a momentum-shifting swing by Rocchio. So Riley Green now, can he have a big swing here and get the Rays on the board? He can. That's hit hard into right. Frelick hunting it down to the wall, and that's gone. Touch the ball, Riley. The first home run for the Rays this year is a 2-run shot. Just getting out and right. And Green ties the game. That'll bring up Williamson. And Williamson crushes that. Left center, gone. Woo! Back to back here in the 6th. And that got out of here in a hurry. Look at that swing. He knew it off the bat. Always love the sound of a good back crack. You know it when you hear it. And Patino's out of here as Tommy Leverett steps in. And he grounds that right back to Rasmussen. Throw down to first. Clean inning for Rasmussen. And we will get to see Fernandez, but that will be in the top of the 9th. Rays coming up now, bottom 8. Can Luis Fernandez close out the Rockies on opening day? Runner on first. And the pitch just misses down. 2-1. Jordan Beck coming up as the last possible hitter today. Fernandez delivers and popped him up. Right field. Torres is under it. Rays win. An opening day victory for the Rays against the Rockies. Bryce Miller and the offense able to put the Rays in good position for the bullpen to come in and shut it down. This is just how you draw it up, and the Rays win on opening day. Fourth game of the year, Rays will face Dory Moretta here. 2-2 to Williamson. Riley Green on third. Rays down 1. Bottom of the ninth. And the pitch. And he struck him out. Slider from Moretta gets Williamson, and the Pirates close this one out in the Trop. In his second start of the year, Bryce Miller is looking to pitch a complete game shutout against Pittsburgh. He's only at 65 pitches through 8. And he struck him out. Bryce Miller. 1 down in the ninth. 2 more to go. Williamson's called a great game for Miller today. They're looking outside here again, and that is lined into right. Will it hang up? It will. That is caught by Nunlow out there. 2 down. 0-2. Struck him out. Miller. A gem in his second start of the year. Complete game shutout against the Pirates. What a game. We are 5-3 to start the year as we are going to get into scouting, which is going to be a little bit less of an emphasis, less important now as we're getting into the meat of this rebuild, season number 6. Most of the guys that we have are going to be here. We've got a lot of guys in the system already that are the long-term projects, but we're going to continue to look for the best players available, and whether or not they come up and play for us, they could be good trade pieces to plug holes, like we might need at second base this year with Gleyber Torres on the last year of his contract. So I won't show as much of scouting. I'll do some small updates along the way, just if I find somebody really good or if I'm struggling to scout, which of course happens sometimes. I want to look real quick at the rotation, and let's see. So Joe Ryan, it's too early to say. His whip is down, so it's a 1.09, so it's not like he's clearly gotten a little bit unlucky. Whatever hit he's given up has probably been a homer. But through his first start, he threw 3.2 innings in long relief, 7.36 ERA. I'm going to be micromanaging Joe Ryan. That's why I'm looking at him already 8 days into the season. Miller, we saw his unbelievable complete game shutout. McClanahan has struggled a bit. Fredrickson off to a good start. Pyle went 6 innings pitched with a 3 ERA. And then Dylan Lesko also struggled a little bit in his first 5.2 innings. All right, let's get back into the season. Just real quick here. Strategy remains the same for my scouting, despite being further into the rebuild. We're going to scout the best position players we can. We are going to scout international pitchers for the first 5 weeks, and we're going to discover international pitchers at the beginning, and then we'll look to transition to another region. After that, depends on which one looks the best. I haven't looked yet. It's usually either Central or East. And then our discovery guy, after about 5 or 6 weeks of pitcher discovery, we will switch him to trying to find some position players. After an excellent start from Dylan Lesko today, the Rays are up 1-0 as Luis Fernandez is in a jam here. And he's going to get a ground ball to shortstop, over to second for 1, to first, in time for 2. Luis Fernandez trying to close this one out. 0-2 to Mike Trout. Struck him out. Fernandez. Way to get out of a jam and secure the win. Another quick moment on Luis Fernandez, who has started the year 5 for 5 in save opportunities. He's pitched 8 innings with a 2.16 ERA. He's looked really good. One of the other things about him, and I don't think I mentioned this, his stats are incredible across the board. This is why I gave up such a good pitching prospect for him. But look at his stamina. As a closer, he has 38 stamina. Most of the time in franchise, your closers have like 20 to 25. And I think this allows Fernandez to, like we saw in the last game, to continue pitching into extra innings if we don't win it in the ninth. And I think that is extremely valuable. Marcelo Arnaz, who we drafted ourselves, also looks like a really, really promising closer. He'll probably be playing at some point. But he also does have 34 stamina. But if I flip through these other guys, Al Jaime's 31, that's also high. Mario Jimenez has 21, and Eddie Medina has 21. I feel like this is the most common range that I see. And as you can see, we're stacked in closers. We're going to use these guys as relievers. They don't all need to come in and close. But yeah, a lot of horses in the farm here ready to come up in short order, I would think. After that last win, the Rays climb into first place in the division ahead of the Orioles by a half game. Tough start for the Blue Jays down there, 4-12. And here is Fernandez in the top of the ninth against the Yankees, up 1, 2 runners on. Here's the 3-2. Fernandez Atolio the pitch, and that's grounded right to second base. Tough play, maybe no play. No, he got him. Tolia not the fastest runner, and Fernandez does close it out with help from some good defense. And Bryce Miller continues his really good start to the year. 7 innings, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, giving up only 1 run, and the bullpen takes it from there. And with that last 2-1 victory, the Rays have won 7 of their last 8. It's been a great start to the year, 15-6, continuing to separate from other teams in our division. Early in the year, we just swept Boston and won 2 out of 3 versus New York, with a 4th coming up here, but I've got to go scout. No luck with the first 2 position players I've scouted. I scouted Estevan Rivera, the catcher. He dropped down the board significantly, only halfway scouted. And then I also scouted Tom Kind, a center fielder, 21 years old. He might actually still be good. I think we've got the 15th pick. Typical stats that I usually like, but he also dropped down the board. So haven't really found the guy that I want just yet. Of course, we're going to be scouting lots of pitchers. Pablo Lopez has jumped way up the board very, very quickly. And he's got the low walks per 9, the classic. However, if he ends up being really good, this is a guy I would take for a trade piece, as we're kind of starting to mature as a team. We may not actually see Pablo Lopez play, but that's just giving you an idea of my strategy. We do have one decent discovery guy, and then another one here who might get better as we keep scouting. So that's where we're at. I missed Patrick Rivas in that last clip. Discovery guy, already ranked 12th, and he's got that potential range, that 79 max and that 99 max that is usually very promising. So hopefully he ends up turning out really good. Joe Ryan's righted the ship a little bit. I think he got his second long relief role appearance of the year. He actually got a save out of it, funny enough, and it looks like he pitched very well. He did about 4 innings. And his ERA's gone down to 3.52. The whip's in a really good spot, so maybe Ryan will end up being okay after all, and we might have to shift gears a little bit with the plan to trade him. I had him on the trade block already. The poor guy. Yeah, so we'll see. We're keeping a close eye on Ryan, because we just have so many other guys that could come up to take any of these slots, and that goes for anyone in the bullpen who's struggling. This time it's been Joyson with 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Rays up 1 against the Royals. And that is hit hard into right, but it stays up, and that's the low out there making the catch. Got a good jump on it. So that was quick. We closed out the Royals. I've got, same game settings of when to enter for this year, and I feel like there hasn't been as many opportunities to enter because we've kind of been dominating in a lot of our wins. So I'm sure we'll catch some good moments, and if, hopefully we make the playoffs, and we'll end up going in and seeing a lot of baseball after that. But a couple good clips of our closers getting the job done here with some great defense behind them. 20-9 to start the year. Pretty much the opposite of what the Blue Jays are doing. 8-22. That is brutal for the Blue Jays. I want to check in on the roster a little bit. Bryce Miller's been unbelievable. Shane McClanahan has actually had a slow start. He's had a couple good games in here, but really this game has just kept his ERA up since then, and then he had a kind of a rough one here, giving up 5 and 5 recently. But other than that, good. Fredrickson, how about Fredrickson? 1.82 ERA, he's 4-1. Aaron Pyle as well is coming together for Aaron Pyle. We're in a good streak right now, so it's a good time to enjoy looking at some of these stats. It can come and go, but a good one start for Pyle. And then Lesko's the one who actually he was off to a good start, and I don't want to do anything with him yet. I don't want to move him just yet. But yeah, he's falling apart a little bit. Joe Ryan continues to. He had another start. He's done fine, but he continues to regress. So things could be coming up quickly here for him. Romero's doing well. Brito's doing well. Henriquez is doing okay. Rasmussen's only doing okay. and then Joyce and Fernandez. Although his ERA is 3.38 and the whip's a little high, he's 10 for 10 on saves. So there's been a couple other games where, maybe he's gone into extra innings or whatever it might be where he hasn't been able to close it out, but still have confidence in Fernandez. As far as the lineup, Xavier Edwards is just unbelievable. I don't know how this is the end of his contract. I don't know how we could even think about moving on from this guy. He's been awesome. Figueroa's only been okay. Riley Green, check out Riley Green. 362 average, 514 slug. Awesome. Williamson is having a very good start to the year. 7 homers, 273 average, 359 on base, 495 slugging. This is more of what I expect for a guy with these stats, and he's up to 94 overall. He's going to be 99 overall by the time he's 22. So that's great. Shanuel, not the best start ever for Shanuel, to be honest with you. So hopefully he turns that around. Gleyber Torres has been good. Wenzel Perez is on fire. Dante Nalo has probably been the worst position player, starter for us so far. So we'll have to see. Chris Samuel may have to get in here because he's been doing well. So, but yeah, Nalo just brings a different profile with that power versus lefties, the good defense, the speed. So we're not going to make any moves just yet. 7 at-bats for Carson Williams, has not been able to record a hit. 2 strikeouts, but he's on the bench, and everybody else has kind of done well enough to not really need to bring him in. The bench guys aren't getting a whole lot of time at the plate besides Rushing and Samuel. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Things are off to an awesome start. Fredrickson is in second for the Cy Young right now. Keep our eye on that as we go through the rest of the season. Xavier Edwards and Riley Green both in the mix for the batting title. Graham Williamson currently in the mix for Gold Glove at catcher. Steven Figueroa, Gold Glove at third. Riley Green, Gold Glove in left. Xavier Edwards, Silver Slugger DH. Williamson, Silver Slugger catcher. This is the best roster we've assembled by far. We may have found our first-round pick here in Tanner Cortez. He's a third baseman who looks a little bit more like a DH profile. Going to come in with decent contact, good power, and some average to above average discipline. But the fielding is a concern. So unless it looks like he can't play first base, but he's got a little bit of speed, good bat. So yeah, we'll see if I find anybody else. But that is our guy to start the year. Great to see Figueroa having a nice game here after a cold start. He needs a triple for the cycle in Toronto. Good count here for Figueroa to drive one, 3-1. Hughes delivers. And that is hit hard into right. Back towards the track. And it's going to be out of here. Figueroa. How about one better than a triple? A homer. Lefty-lefty. And our guy Luis Fernandez comes in and strikes out the side to close out the game. We win 6-3 against the Jays. They are really struggling. It's not so much Joe Ryan like I thought. It's actually Dylan Lesko who's struggling in the rotation. 8 starts, 5 ERA. Just been struggling. He's got another option. So we're going to send him back down to AAA. Let him work on some things. And it is time for Mr. Hancock, who's got 2.54 ERA in 49 innings, 5-3 in AAA. So we're going to bring him up, and this is the last time we can kind of move him around. So if we end up having to put him in the long relief role and move off of Joe Ryan at some point, that's fine. We have so many guys. Even though we haven't made the playoffs to start this rebuild, we have built up the team, especially on the pitching side, so well that just a lot of options for me. So Hancock's back in. Let's go figure some things out in AAA. I hope to see you back up. One more start later. Look at this. Austin Fredrickson leading for the Cy Young. I don't know if this is going to hold, but pretty cool to see right now. I knew this guy was going to be good when we got him and throughout his time in the minors, but he wouldn't have been, top of my list for being on the board here for the Cy Young race. Count is full to Dante Nalo now trying to add on. Struggling to start the year. Righty-righty's not the best matchup for him, but here's the pitch. And he kills that! Straight away center field. Long gone. Nolo, 424 feet to dead center, a 3-run shot. And that might put this out of reach for the Marlins, his second of the year. Let's take another look at that. A good balanced swing, shifts the weight forward and puts everything he's got into that. Just a nice little baby fade there. Rays have just won 10 games in a row. 2 against the Phillies, sweep Milwaukee, sweep Toronto, and then their first 2 against Miami. We entered this 6-2 game. We'll see if we can sweep Miami, keep this going. Luis Fernandez still perfect through 22 save opportunities. He has 22 saves. 3 ERA. It's a little high, but it's come down, and the whip's come down as well. Just so glad we got this guy on our team. I iced him. Just a couple games later, first blown save for Fernandez. It was against the Astros. Rays trying to rally here, bottom of the 15th, 1-0. And that is grounded to shortstop. Running throw in time. Marlins win in a marathon of a game. More of the same from Emerson Hancock. He has started 4 games this year, 3 wins, a 1.88 ERA since bringing him up. This guy is unbelievable. One of the legends of this rebuild, Emerson Hancock. I am going to try to look for a trade for Joe Ryan. When I put him on here, you can see the weight of the trade. That is very, very high. If I compare that to, let's say, Hancock, see it's much lower, even though he pitches a lot better. So with that in mind, as I always try to do, I'm not going to take advantage of the CPU, but we're going to find somebody who wants a starter and has, plenty of room in their budget, and we're just going to dump him for anybody because he has more than 5 years of MLB service. I can't really designate him for assignment, or I can't option him to the minors either, even though he's got 3 options available. So I'll see what I can come up with here. I want to do this the right way, but I just can't justify putting him in our lineup anymore. So I found a good trade partner here for us for Joe Ryan. I'm going to trade him to the Padres. They have $47 million before trading Ryan over in their budget, and they're looking for a starter. And all I want in return is a C potential first baseman who looks pretty well rounded. He can catch and play left field. But I'm just going to show you, just to explain my point, is like they would be willing to give me, these 3 guys, right? Or they would be willing to give me like this guy and a starter prospect, a 21-year-old starter. Even this, 70 overall, 21-year-old starter who's like somebody that I would, want on my team, who's have 2 ERA in AAA. But I just don't think that makes sense. So all I want is Clint Portillo. I'm going to move off of Joe Ryan, and I'll show you who we slot in there. So that move opens up Tyler Holton to come back in the bullpen. He was in AAA. I mean, having these starters kind of screwed up how I wanted to set some things up, to be honest with you. He's in AAA, and he's way too good for that. 0.72 ERA in 25 innings. It'd be nice to have another lefty in there. So we're going to move him back up to the MLB. While we're here, I'm going to shift things around a little bit in the lineup too. Dante Nolo, we've given him 51 games. I think he's played every game and just not producing at all. So I want his bat still on the bench, but we are going to bring Chris Samuel into his spot. Now, his defense isn't as good, but his speed is very good. And then, once again, we're going to take Nolo out for the rookie Chris Samuel. I want Nolo up just for that power and the flexibility in the outfield. But yeah, we've got to get him out of the starting lineup. 2 front door sweepers to Torres. The count goes to 0-2. And he struck him out. 3 straight sweepers. And the Rays lose to the Orioles. Not as dominant of a June as it was a May for the Rays. The calendar turns to July. We are 54-29 at this point in the season. Bases loaded, bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, Rays down 2. The rookie Chris Samuel is at the plate. Here's the pitch. And that's grounded to second base. Easy play over there. Throws it to first, and the A's close this one out.
Familiar name here in this trade. Tommy Leverett is going over to the Royals. They gave up 3 prospects in return to the Rockies. Just about headed into the All-Star break. The Rays are 62 and 33. We are currently 11 and a half games above the Yankees in the division. Our rotation has really been carrying the way. Bryce Miller, Shane McClanahan, Fredrickson, Pyle, and Hancock. Pyle's been actually the worst out of all of them. As far as the bullpen, Rasmussen has been awesome. Romero, Brito, Henriquez has been our worst bullpen arm. Joyce, Holton, and Fernandez have all been really good. And then the lineup, Xavier Edwards continues to be fantastic. Figueroa's turned things around, having a nice year. Riley Green, know what we're going to get out of him. He's been good. Graham Williamson is cold. He's up to 95 overall, continues to develop. He just doesn't perform at the plate as well as I really would think that he should. However, he's had an unbelievable year on the defensive side of the ball, and he's already up to 3.7 WAR, so on pace for a career amount of WAR. So just hope that he can get a little bit better at the plate, really is my only hope for him. Shauna Will's been hot lately. He's turned some things around, similar to Gleyber Torres. Perez been about spot on for him. The rookie, Chris Samuel, hasn't been great, but I still like him over Nolo, and then Rocchio's having a solid year. So that's what we're looking at right now. This is last week of scouting here, and we're about to get into the draft, and then later on we'll see if we're going to make any moves at the trade deadline. Riley Green having himself a game in Boston. He's 4 for 4 and needs a triple for the cycle. Payoff pitch here. On its way. Inside, so Green draws a walk. Not able to get the triple, but on base 5 times today, including 5 RBIs. Let's check in on Junior, and it looks like he still has not been able to figure it out, despite moving over to Kansas City. Just having another rough year. They paid him $10 million this year. This was his last year of arbitration. So we'll see what he does, but just hasn't been the career that I think we would expect for Junior. It's draft day, and we got the 15th pick. And I will just tell you that this was the worst draft class I think I've ever seen. There were hardly anybody good. I've only got 2 position players at the top of my board, and with the 15th pick, there's almost no way that they're going to fall to us. So Isaac Kirk, it would be a miracle if we got him, but I think this is the best bat in the lineup. A first baseman, looks like he would be a monster at the plate. It's more likely that we would end up taking Tanner Cortez, who is an 18-year-old third baseman, well-rounded at the plate, and then has not that good a defense and can't play in any other positions, but does have some speed and the ability to steal. Most likely we would end up picking Cortez if we go the route of a position player. And then we get into a bunch of pitchers. There were some good pitcher options. So Kevin Correa, very good chance that this guy ends up being my first pick. Then we have Robert Tanana, also a good chance that he could be my first pick. Davis Weber's a shortstop who I didn't finish scouting. Based on the little bit of scouting I did for him, I think he'd end up coming in with not that great of hitting stats, and more of like a defensive shortstop. So I guess I do have another position guy. Then we just go into discovery and second round type of pitchers. There's some good options in here, but even the discovery guys were not too good this year. Pablo Lopez rose up the board a lot. Maybe we can get him. But again, he'd probably be a trade piece. So yeah, I'll just flip through here real quick and show you. Got another third baseman here who could be a good first round option as well, even though he's ranked all the way down at 32. But he's can play first and right. Doesn't look like he's going to hit that great, but it looks like he's going to play good defense and steal bases. I mean, these were the best guys I could find. It was rough. There's a guaranteed high potential starter here. Only issue is he's probably going to have low overall, and he's already 22. So, I mean, it's brutal. Tom Kynes here, center fielder who could play, but again, just worried that if he doesn't come in on the higher end of his overall range, it'll be an issue. And then we've got one reliever down here who I like, who's a discovery guy. So, hopefully at the very least we can get Anaya. So, I mean, this was without a doubt the worst draft class we've had in this rebuild. One of the worst I've ever seen. And with the 15th pick, I didn't really scout it. And there goes Isaac Kirk goes first overall. That doesn't shock me at all, because if these other teams are scouting any way familiar to how I did, this is just a atrocious class. So let's see. Jimmy Chambliss is going to go here. So let's go ahead and fast forward to our pick. And so Tanner Cortez is still here. So if I want to take a position player, Cortez is probably really my only bet there. Tanana's here if I want to go starter. And I mentioned I was a little worried about Weber. I think he's probably going to fall. Then we're into more discovery guys. Ruben just has low potential in overall. So it's kind of between Tanana, who just looks sort of mid, awful pitch mix, and Cortez. And we're going to go with Cortez here. Let's see how much the board falls apart here. Yeah, so now we're all the way down to the 62nd pick. Yeah, let's go ahead and just get into the pitchers. It's going to be pitchers from here on out. We're going to go with Brandon Tobin for our next pick here in the 92nd spot. And now we're going to go to Anaya, my favorite reliever on the board, who actually might play. Keep going ahead here. All right, I think 2 picks left. So we still have Riddick, Lopez, Carrillo, and Valencia. I think out of all these guys, I know Riddick is ranked a little higher, but let's go Lopez here because I think if he ends up being decent, he'll have some more room for growth. And then I guess we could probably go Riddick. Yeah, let's go Tom Riddick. Yeah, I think this could be a disaster, and I felt like I've been using a consistent strategy. I'm no expert, but just to be honest with you, this was such an atrocious draft class. So I will let you know how things go here. We've got a couple all-star starters. These are guys who have been all-stars for us before. Well, we actually also have Bryce Miller, who's been our best pitcher. He's going to be a pitching starter. But as far as the position players, Graham Williamson is going to be the catcher. And then shortstop is going to be Xavier Edwards, which, again, he doesn't even play short. He just hits the crap out of the ball. So those were our 2 top vote getters. Riley Green actually got outvoted by Yordan Alvarez and Rodney Scruggs. So that is how things shook out here. And next time you see me is either going to be in a game or trade deadline moves. One of the other very good teams in the league are making a move here for a 36-year-old veteran, Ketel Marte. They're giving up a couple prospects here to add Ketel Marte. Check out the Cy Young race. All 3 are Rays: McClanahan, Pyle, and Miller. I have no idea how Pyle's in here other than the fact that he has 10 wins, but he's got a 4.28 ERA. But either way, we're in a good spot here. This is I've checked this off camera quite a few times. This has been moving all over the place. So we'll have to see where this ends up shaking up. Several other guys are in a good spot for awards. Xavier Edwards looking for another batting title. Luis Fernandez is in second for reliever of the year, but look at Yoan Duran. 0.77 ERA with 36 saves. That is unbelievable. Nothing on rookie of the year here. We do have some gold gloves. So Graham Williamson has had a perfect fielding percentage back there behind the dish. We also have Riley Green in left field, Wenzel in center. So yeah, and that is where we stand. A couple guys looking for silver sluggers. Gleyber Torres is in second for the silver slugger. Only thing with Gleyber is he's regressing pretty heavily, and he's in the last year of the contract, but he's playing so well that I don't really think I can justify trading him. So yeah, that's where we stand. We're 66-34, third-ranked team in the league, but I think we're really getting carried by our pitching and then improved contact, a little bit more power than we had in the past. So yeah. Looking at the trade block, there's nobody really here towards the top of the board that can help us. So we could look for maybe an outfielder, just because the combination of Nalo and Samuel hasn't been too great to start the year. So I may do that, but we're all set on the pitching side, so could be a quiet trade deadline. Okay, I did find a move that I think I want to make here. Burleson is on the Pirates, and he's in the last year of his $12 million contract, and he can crush righties. So I think this would be a good bench bat for us in the outfield because the tandem of Nolo and Samuel hasn't worked out great. I'll keep Nolo on the bench, and then we'll have Samuel hit against lefties. So these guys can platoon, and this should give us just a little bit of an extra edge. And we'll probably send Nolo down because he still has all three of his options. So who I'm giving up here? I'm giving up Ronnie Henriquez, relief pitcher. He is on the last year of a $2.9 million deal, and we've had him for a long time. He's been a good reliever for us. The Pirates are looking for a reliever, and they also are looking for a catcher. So if you look at their catcher situation, they don't have like a backup that can really play at all. So I'm going to give them Nick Fortes, who's actually hot right now, and that way they have another catcher there behind Adley. So yeah, I'm giving them what they want. I'm going to take Burleson, and we'll pay the rest of his contract, and we'll throw Burleson on the bench for us. So our buddy Dante, the very first draft pick of ours in this entire rebuild, we're going to use one of his options here and send him back down to Triple A. And then as far as the relief pitching to replace Enriquez, I haven't figured that out yet. I will be right back. Okay, for our reliever slot that we need to fill back up here, I'm going to bring up Marcelo Arnez, who was a draft pick of ours back in 2027. In AAA, he has been awesome. 2 ERA, .85 whip, and he's 33 out of 34 in his save opportunities. Great hits per nine, great Ks per nine, good pitch mix. My only concern is the clutch and the walks per nine, but he's been kicking butt. So let's go ahead and bring him up to the MLB. He's already on the 40-man. And then let's go make these couple of moves here. So lineup-wise, we are going to have Burleson hit against righties in replace of Chris Samuel. And then Samuel's going to stay in versus lefties. I'll probably move him down in the order a little bit, but I'm going to figure that out later. And we'll have Burleson here as a bench bat. And then for the pitching rotation, we've got Arnez slotted in here in middle relief. Fernandez is actually on the IL. For just short-term IL, so that's kind of a bummer. But we've still got Holton, we got Joyce here, and now we're gonna bring up Arnez. So that is how things are looking. All right, got through the trade deadline, and we are decisively in first place in our division, 73-37, 14 games ahead of the Yankees. It's kind of close in the middle there between the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Orioles, and the Blue Jays are completely in the basement. Let's check out across the league. So we have 73 wins, Tigers with 62, Twins with 61. Close race over there. Angels and Athletics are going at it. The Athletics traded for Justin Martinez at the deadline, so see if that gives them a boost. The wild card's looking like this: Twins, Yankees, Guardians. Over in the NL, the Mets are the best team over there, 65-44. Cubs are leading the division, the Central, but the Reds and the Cardinals are already in there. Kind of a tight race in the Central. And then the D-backs. Oh, wait, actually, looks like the D-backs and the Dodgers are both. Just the D-backs are better than the Mets, but the Dodgers are right there. So the NL is looking a little bit stronger than the AL. We're the best team in the AL so far. But the time is now to see our draft picks. I am worried that this could be really, really bad. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off, and yeah, there you go. Not a single blue here for anybody. I think that's the first time ever that I've had that. It was just a miserable draft class. I mean, our position player, he's 56 overall, 84 potential with our number one pick. And Patrick Rivas, starter. I mean, is it even worth me going through these? Brandon Tobin has 97 stamina. Good for him. Bill Anaya came in lower end of his range there. I had high hopes for him. Now I really don't. I mean, I can't even tell you if anybody here is good at all. So, yeah, let's just end scene. Let's get back to the most important and fun part of this season, watching our great baseball team play baseball. Bryce Miller is in the bottom of the ninth here, and he has got a complete game shutout going. So let's see if he can close this out against the Angels. 0-2 to Lipscomb. And that's hit hard right back up the middle. So a leadoff base runner, bottom of the ninth. 2-0 to Reynolds. And he hits that high and deep to right. Is that going to stay in the yard? No! Good attempt out there to rob it, but looks like we jinxed our guy Bryce Miller here. 2-2 to Hurd. He struck him out. 2 strikeouts for Arnaz. A great outing to come in and finish off what Bryce Miller started. Look who has sneaked into the MVP race. Graham Williamson is in third behind Alonso and Alvarez. Alonso's still in the league. I guess he's 35, yeah. Playing for the Orioles. But there's Williamson. Let's check out his stats here. 22 homers, 84 RBIs, 775 OPS. I still don't think he's hit his ceiling, but he is already at the same WAR that he had last year, and we are just in the middle of July. So hopefully he can sneak his way up there. I think he's just got to get on base and hit for a little more average in order to do that. But look at the Cy Young. It's still the 3 Rays, McClanahan, Pyle, and Miller in that order. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if Brian Rocchio can hit for the cycle. He needs a triple. It's a long shot. 2-0. And Rocchio hits that hard. Deep into right. That's going to be off the wall. Bounce off the wall. Tucker plays it pretty cleanly. The throw comes into the throw's going to go home. Did he get to third? No. Oh, it's a double for Rocchio. That had a chance. Tucker played it well out and right. That had a chance. In that game, the Rays had 16 runs on 18 hits. Look at the stat lines down there for Rocchio, Edwards, Green, and Torres. We have one of the best offenses and the best pitching staff so far this year. Can't get enough of watching Luis Fernandez, but he is in a jam. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. And that is floated into left field. Easy play for Riley Green, and he does get out of it. How about Fernandez standing tall there? Just coming out of that A's game where Fernandez closed it out. Look at our lineup. 6 guys are on fire, and then we have our 2 all-stars here in the middle. And Burleson is on fire, and then that last game, he was the player of the game, and he had a home run and had 3 RBIs. So, yeah, I mean, this is really coming together. So many of these pieces we've gotten throughout all different parts of the rebuild, and the stars are finally starting to align along with the best pitching staff we've ever put together. So it's been a great year. We are 82-39. Speaking of Burleson, he carries a 10-game hitting streak into this game, raised up 6-2 over the Giants, but down to the last out. Can Burleson extend his streak? Here's a 2-2. And that is clubbed into left field, but it looks like it's floating up there. The left fielder just shy of the track, catches it, and that's the end of Burleson's streak. Xavier Edwards, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs facing the Yankees in the Trop. And Edwards hits that just past the first baseman. That's going to be a walk-off for Xavier Edwards. Rays win. The winning run, Carson Williams. 11 innings into the year. Marcelo Arnaz, 0.82 ERA. For September call-ups, we are going to bring back up Theo Gillen for his positional flexibility. And then we are also going to bring up Mason Anklert, who in AAA has had 37 innings, a 1.67 ERA, and a .88 WHIP despite being 71 overall. He is going to come up to the MLB. Xavier Edwards just got injured in the beginning of September. He's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. Hopefully no issues here, and he can come back for playoff time. And hopefully this doesn't affect his opportunity to win some awards. Okay, if Dalton Rushing is the one that ends up hitting for the cycle on camera, I don't know what I'm going to do. Backup catcher. I say backup. He's a very good player. We got him for cheap. He's been with us for a few years. But if he's the one who could do it, that would be unbelievable. The 1-1. And that's hit hard into the gap in left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. It is played cleanly out there in center. And he's going to finish with a double. Oh my gosh, that had a chance. Tail end of the season, we're facing our nemesis, Pete Alonso, in a jam. Luis Fernandez is with the bases loaded again. 2 outs, raised up 2 in Baltimore. Can he get out of this? 2-2 to Alonso. Crowd on their feet. He struck him out. Fernandez, electric. Last 5 games of the year. Let's see how we finish up. We beat Baltimore. We beat Baltimore. We beat Toronto. We beat Toronto, and we beat Toronto, finishing the season 106-56. It has all come together finally. Let's go through our rotation. Well, let's go through our lineup real quick. Riley Green, I don't know how he ended up in the 1 spot, but fantastic year. He had 7 WAR. That might be a career high. It is. What a year in our first year with Riley Green. Graham Williamson, still not hitting as well as I would like, but nonetheless putting up 5 WAR as a very good catcher. Figueroa really turned things around from the beginning of the season. He ended up playing well. Xavier Edwards just continues to reproduce. I don't know what happened here. Maybe something with going into the playoffs. The CPU just adjusted the roster, but I'll redo all this before we get to the playoffs. Xavier Edwards continues to be unbelievable. Career high in slugging. Ended up with 12 homers and 49 doubles this year. He had 6.1 WAR, matching his total from last year. Nolan Shotwell ended up having a pretty good year. It was up in the air, but he had a career high 812 OPS and 2.9 WAR. Dalton Rushing came in and DH'd when Xavier Edwards was hurt for a little while, and he had a good year. Wenzel Perez, another good year, but he is regressing a little bit offensively, and we've got him for 3 more years, or 2 more years. So we'll have to keep our eye on him. That's a little nervy, but managed to continue to produce. Another 3.7 WAR, very consistent player. Alec Burleson came in and was great for us, hitting primarily against righties. And then Brian Rocchio playing good shortstop and producing at the plate. Let's go over here, and I want to take a look at the awards. So this could be very exciting. I've kept you all in the loop throughout the year. Let's see what we ended up getting. Shane McClanahan, in his 5th year on his mega deal, wins the Cy Young. Xavier Edwards with another batting title. How about that? We did not end up getting the MVP. Jordan, this dude is just a monster. And Pete, who is our nemesis, he ended in 2nd place there. 2 Orioles here. How about McClanahan and Miller? Both with unbelievable years. McClanahan with 1 more win and a lot more strikeouts. The ERA is a little bit high for Cy Young, but unbelievable years from these guys. Xavier Edwards with that batting title. Luis Fernandez came in 3rd for reliever of the year. He had the most saves, but his ERA was a little high. So not able to beat out Clase and Duran. I mean, those are 2 bona fide stud closers. Flipping through here real quick. Nothing in Rookie of the Year. We did achieve that already as one of our goals. A pitcher actually got it. How about this guy, Rafael Ramirez? 130 innings. Whoa. Rookie of the Year there. That is awesome for him. Let's just flip through here. What other awards are we in line for? We had... Wow, I cannot believe Williamson didn't end up getting that catcher gold glove. It looked like he was going to get that. We did get a gold glove for Riley Green out in left. Not only can he hit, he plays great defense. That's back-to-back for Green. Wenzel Perez in center. Good for him. Is that his first career? That is his first award. And then we have Silver Slugger for Xavier Edwards, Graham Williamson. Gleyber Torres came in 2nd. Riley Green in the outfield. And yeah, so we achieved a huge goal of ours, which was a Cy Young. It took Shane to his 5th year to get that. It helps when you have a little better team behind you, for sure. So let me clean things up here, and let's get into the postseason. For the first time in this rebuild, we were a fantastic team. We ended up winning the division by 23 games with 106 wins. Did anybody come close? Tigers 92, Royals 90, Athletics 89. Mets only ended up with 89 wins? Wow, they fell apart. They fell apart. Cubs with 87, and then the D-backs were the second best team, 97 and 65. So, all right, let me get things in order, and we're going to get into some playoff baseball finally. The Royals came out on top in their wild card playoff series, so that is who our first opponent will be in the first playoff series of this rebuild. I'm so excited. Just before we get into that, let's talk about what our playoff lineup and roster is going to be. So Bryce Miller, McClanahan, Fredrickson, Pyle, Hancock, these are our starters. Pyle and Hancock, I'm going to try not to start if I can, depending on how things space out and the energy of these top three. Rasmussen will be in long relief. Romero, Brito, and Arnez will be in middle relief, as well as Vincent Beck is going to make his major league debut in the playoffs. Actually, yeah, he's going to make his major league debut in the playoffs. He's a little bit of a wild card. We got to throw a different look at these teams in the playoff roster. Then Joyce, Holton, and Fernandez will be setup, and closer respectively. So I really, we had the best rotation, best pitching staff this entire year. So I feel good about that. Let's talk about our lineups. So I feel very good against righties. Xavier Edwards in the 1, Figueroa in the 2, Green in the 3, Williamson in the 4, Shawnuel, Burleson, who mashes righties. Let me flip these guys, actually. Then we're going to have Gleyber Torres in the 7 spot, Perez in the 8, and Rocchio in the 9. Bench is going to be rushing, Guillen for his flexibility with playing every defensive position, Samuel and Williams. Then versus lefties, pretty similar. However, we're very top-heavy against lefties, and Riley Green is not great against lefties unless there's a runner on base. So let's go Torres there, actually. No, we'll keep Green there. I had this set up. I got to stick with it. So Edwards, Williamson will actually be in the 2 against lefties, then Green, Torres, Figueroa, Perez, Shawnuel, Rocchio, and then Samuel is going to come in to hit lefties because of his 77 contact and his other good attributes like vision, discipline, and clutch. So that is where we're going to be rocking with. Without further ado, let's get in and watch some playoff baseball. Quick note before we get into playoff baseball. I am going to set our custom game entry conditions at medium, and we can enter the game in the earliest inning, and as early as the first inning. And so the reason for this is we're going to be watching a lot of games, hopefully, we'll make a deep run. And I don't want this video to get crazy long by having way too many highlights and clips from every single game. So I want us to get the most important moments, and without further ado, let's get into the first game. And look at this. We're up. It's tied 3-3, and we've got the bases loaded, and that is where we will pick up game number 1. Riley Green already has a solo shot today. The bases are loaded, tied 3-3. Crowd is on their feet. Count is 2-2 to Green. And he grounds that, but the pitcher makes a nice play. Stabs at it and throws to first for the out. Gets out of a jam there in the second. And somehow that was our only moment that we came into here in game 1. That's a little bit of a letdown, but we did win. So Bryce Miller starts us off with a win against the Royals at home. Final score 7-4. Brian Rocchio gets player of the game. Bryce Miller settled things down after giving up 3 in the first 2 innings. Rocchio, Burleson, and Green all homered, and Luis Fernandez gets the save. Game 2 of the series. Rays trail 5-3. Bottom of the 7th, no outs. The rookie Chris Samuel is in, facing Ryan Helsley. 1-2 to Samuel. And that is grounded to third base. A sliding grab goes to second for 1, and Samuel's safe at first. So runners on the corners with 1 out. That'll bring up Xavier Edwards with 2 on. 1-0 to Edwards. And he pulls that, foul caught, and they're going to double him up. A double play from the first baseman, and Helsley gets out of it. We will see Caminero potentially here in the 7th. No, we will not see any more baseball. The Royals close this one out. Final score is 5-3. Not much else happened. McClanahan gets the loss, giving up 8 hits and 5 runs. Green is up in game 3, facing Luke Weaver into the bullpen early. 1 out, bases loaded, top of the 5th, tie ball game. Here's the 1-1. Way inside. That's going to go to the backstop. Runner is not going to take home, even though the catcher bobbled it. Lack of aggression there as that ball got to the backstop, but it's just going to end up as a ball. 2-1 now. And that is popped into shallow left. Caught. Throw coming home, and he is way out. An assist out there by Christopher Morel. Would you look at that? If there's one thing he has, it's a great arm. And once again, no other real highlights here as the Royals take down the Rays in Game 2. They take a 2-1 series lead. Shotwell had 2 home runs, an okay start for Frederickson. He did give up 3 in 5 innings. But Luis Robert Jr., along with Kobe Mayo, Bobby Witt, and Richie Palbicki, all homer for the Royals. I'm going to adjust our game entry conditions a little bit. We haven't entered as much as I would like. So we're going to go down closer to low. Still could come in at any inning. And yeah, let's get back into a decider game versus the Royals. Aaron Pyle got the start today. He's in a tough spot already. Bottom of the first, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Kobe Mayo at the dish. And he struck him out. Pyle gets out of a jam in the first. Rays put up 3 already in the second inning. Bases loaded for Brian Rocchio. And the count goes full to Rocchio. Lynch will have to find the zone here. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the third. And he misses and walks in a run. Rays plate another one. It is 4-0. And Samuel grounds that to third base. Long throw to first, but in time. So the Rays put up 4 in the first 3. The Rays do crush the Royals, and we are going to head to a Game 5 in this series, 7-0 in Kansas City. Aaron Pyle gets the win, giving up no runs with 6 innings pitched and 7 Ks. Wenzel Perez, player of the game. Okay, let's try something a little different here for the decider with Bryce Miller on the hill here. Let's go ahead and do this quick manage, and I will enter the game manually for any big moments. Let's get this thing started. Palbicki strikes out. Leverett with a single. Bobby Witt with a 2-run homer in the first. Morel grounds out. Mayo with a single. Caminero grounds out. We're facing Gage McGowan once again. Xavier Edwards starts the game with a solo home run. Figueroa flies out. Riley Green grounds out. And Williamson lines out. Miller back at it for the second. Ground out. Strikeout. Ground out. Clean second. Burleson leads off in the bottom half with a strikeout. Shawnuel with a flyout. And Torres with a double. Wenzel Perez grounds out. Miller pop out. Fly out. Single. Morel flies out. Two runners on here. 2 outs. Let's go ahead and enter this game. And the 1-1. And that's crushed. Deep left field. To the track. To the wall. And it's caught by Morel at the wall. Back into the quick manage. Bryce Miller in now for the 4th. Strikes out Kobe Mayo. Caminero flies out and Robert flies out. Burleson grounds out. Shawnuel with the single. Gleyber Torres with a 2-run shot, and the Rays take the lead. Perez follows that up with a single. Rocchio pops up. Xavier Edwards strikes out. Miller back at it. Strikeout. Ground out. Strikeout. Double for Figueroa. Green strikes out. Grant Williamson with a 2-run shot. Rays are up 5-2. Daniel Lynch is back in. Burleson flies out and Shawnuel flies out. Bryce Miller now with a flyout, a walk. Morel grounds out. Kobe Mayo strikes out. Torres reaches on an air. Perez pops out. Fielder's choice, Rocchio, and then a flyout. Bryce Miller still in, top of the 7th. Double for Caminero. Flyout for Luis Robert. 2-run homer for Waters. Rays are up 1 now. And Tyler Holton is going to come in. He gets a pop out. Now a single. Runner steals second. Let's see if Holton can get out of this. Switch hitter Tommy Leverett batting from the right side. Tyler Holton. Runner on second. Rays up 1, 2 outs. Bobby Witt looms on deck. This is a big out here. 3-1 count. And a pitch. And helped him out there. Leverett helped him out. That would have been ball 4. Count runs full. Here's the pitch. He struck him out. Williamson will have to throw down to first. They got him. Holton gets out of it. Rays still lead. Back to the quick manage. Rays are up in the bottom of the 7th. Figueroa strikes out. Green grounds out. And Williamson with a single. Burleson strikes out. Ben Joyce is going to come in now. Strikes out Witt. Pops up Morel. Strikes out Mayo. Can the Rays add insurance in the bottom of the 8th? Ryan Helsley's coming in. A fly out by Shawnuel. A single for Torres. Fielder's choice. A single for Rocchio. 2 on. Let's go back into the game. Here is Xavier Edwards with 2 runners on. Rays only up 1. Bottom of the 8th. Elimination game. 2-2 in the series. First pitch. Slider misses high. Edwards 2 for 4 on the day, but no bigger hit than what he could do right here. 1-0. And that's blooped. Shallow center field. Second baseman runs out and makes the catch. Caminero playing second. And it is now time for the lefty, the southpaw, the side armor. One of the most electric closers in the game here in the top of the 9th. Rays up 1. Luis Fernandez comes in. And who else but Junior Caminero is at the plate. 1-2 now to Junior Caminero. Fernandez fires. Struck him out. 1 down. Freddie Fermin is going to pinch hit. 1 away, top of the 9th. And that is lined. Right center field. That's going to be a gap shot. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Perez fields it. Hits the cutoff man. And that is a double for Freddie Fermin. Tying run now in scoring position for Drew Waters. 2-2 now. And he struck him out. Chases the high fastball. 2 down. Here's the 3-0. That misses. 2 runners on now. Williamson calls the pitch. Fernandez delivers. And that's grounded to third base, but there's an error. Throw down to second. He's safe. The bases are loaded. Figueroa with an error at third. The Rays were 1 strike away, and now they'll have to face Tommy Leverett with the bases loaded, top of the 9th. First pitch is inside for ball 1. Everyone anxiously waiting and watching. The 1-0 from Fernandez. And that is popped up. Shallow left field, long run for Green. He's got it. He's got it. The Rays win the series. Fernandez works out of a bases-loaded jam. ALCS bound. The Rays will now be taking on the Detroit Tigers. And we will be entering Game 1 of the series down 2. All-star catcher Graham Williamson faces Christopher Sanchez. 2 on, bottom of the 5th. Tigers, Rays. And that's hit hard, but right at the second baseman. Throw down to first. They got him. Wenceel Perez looking to set the table now. Bottom of the 7th. Christopher Sanchez still in the game. He's only thrown 54 pitches. He's given up 2 runs. The Rays trail the Tigers by 2. Here's the 1-2 to Perez. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Shawnuel. And he swings and misses. Shonwell, who rarely strikes out. The 1-2. Hit hard right back up the middle. Single for Rocchio. 1-2 to Samuel. Rocchio on first. And he struck him out. That's the end of the 7th. 2 innings left for the Rays to come back. And that's drilled right back up the middle. A base hit for Williamson. 108 off the bat. Runners will be on first and second. And that's grounded. Snagged by Loizaga, goes to second for 1, to first, and it's a double play. Boy, did Loizaga need that. The 0-1. Hit up the first base line, snagged, and tags him out. And the Tigers end up closing out Game 1 in the Trop. Rays not able to take advantage of a couple opportunities. We enter Game 2 with Austin Fredrickson on the hill. Top of the 3rd, no outs. Rays lead 1-0. The count has run full to Max Clark. Runner on first, nobody out. Top of the 3rd. Game 2, Detroit leads 1-0 in the series. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. Fastball up and in. 1 down. 3-0 now. And that misses inside. A 4-pitch walk to Arroyo. And that's hit hard, but pulled foul. And that's in there. Struck him out. 2 away. 1-2. Fredrickson, Westberg. And he struck him out. Fredrickson comes up huge and gets out of a jam. Wenzel Perez looking to do some damage with 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 5th. And that ball's going to get away. The runner is not going to advance. Looks like Austin Wells behind the plate. The runner does advance to second. So 2 runners in scoring position for Edwards. And that is lined right back up the middle. That's going to score 1, and it could be 2. The throw to the plate. Not in time. Rays extend the lead in the bottom of the 5th. Off the bat is Xavier Edwards. 2-2 to Figueroa. And he struck him out. But not before the Rays put up 2. And with that, the Rays closed this one out. Not a whole lot of action the rest of the game. It really came down to that 5th inning. And the Rays even the series off the back of a great start by Fredrickson. Fredrickson only gave up 1 hit in 5.1 innings, but gave up 5 walks. Manages to work around that. Game 3 in Detroit. Aaron Pyle gets the start. 2 runners on, 1 out. Bottom of the 1st. Fastball's in there. Pitch. He struck him out. Vulcan change. 2 away. Here's the 0-1. And that's smoked, but right at Torres. He makes the catch. Rays trying to even up the score in the top of the 3rd. Jackson Jobe has gotten the start today for the Tigers. And Rocchio crushes that. Right center field. Marsh tracking it down to the track and makes the catch. A loud out from Rocchio, but it's 1 away. 1-2 to Edwards. Jobe delivers. Struck him out. 99 off the plate, but Edwards chases it. 3-2. And he struck him out. Chases the high fastball. Jobe gets out of it again. There you see Pyle and Jobe side by side. 4 innings. Pyle's given up 1. Jobe has given up none and has struck out 5. 2-2. And that's grounded to the shortstop. He's going to flip it to second. Over to first. And they got him just barely. Close play, but a 6-4-3 double play turned by the Tigers. 0-2 now to Perez. He struck him out. Jobe continues to keep the Rays off the board through 5. Pyle now trying to keep the deficit at 1. 2 runners on, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. 2-1. Grounded to second base. Could be 2. Flips to second for 1. Over to first, and they got him. Pyle gets out of another jam in the 5th. Job got the Tigers through 7 scoreless innings, and now they threaten in the bottom of the 7th. 2 runners on, Jojo Romero 1 out. Popped up. Shallow center field. Riley Green comes in and makes the catch. The Gold Glove left fielder tracks that one down for the 2nd out. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And that's grounded to second base. Torres goes the short way, and they get it. Get the out. A pitcher's duel. The Tigers lead 1-0 through 7. 1-1 to Figueroa. Swung on. Hit up the left field line. Will that drop fair? It does. Left fielder kind of stumbling in the corner. And that'll be extra bases. Figueroa in safely at second. The tying run is at second, and the go-ahead run will be coming to the plate in the form of Riley Green, former Tiger. And that's grounded right to the shortstop. Throw down to first in time. 2 away. The superstar catcher, Graham Williamson, now 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Rays down 1. Runner on second. Rays down to their final out. Graham Williamson at the plate. Top of the 9th. And that's hit hard. Right field. Headed in the corner. And Max Clark catches it to close out. The Tigers win, and they take a 2-1 lead in the series. Rays were held scoreless despite mounting a few good opportunities. Aaron Pyle had a very good game, giving up 1 run in 6 innings. But Jackson Jobe gets the better of him, giving up 0 in 7 with 9 strikeouts. I forgot to record the audio in an uneventful Game 4, but the Rays do even up the series. Bryce Miller gets the win, gives up 0 runs in 7 innings pitched, and Luis Fernandez gets the save. And McClanahan strikes out Larnach. He's gotten through 5 1/3, scoreless. The Rays plated 1 in the top of this 5th. Dingler's going to fly out to Riley Green and left, and Shane is through 6, scoreless. 2-2 as McClanahan looks to put an exclamation point on a great outing. The Cy Young winner. And he struck him out. McClanahan, 7 innings, 1 run. Rays take a lead into the 8th. Ben Joyce will try to get through the 8th inning. Runner on first. And that's a base hit for Trevor Larnach. Green gets it into the 3rd, but 2 runners on now, bottom of the 8th. No outs. Another bunt attempt. And that is a fair ball and misplayed by Figueroa. The bases are now loaded in the bottom of the 8th. Joyce has had a great year, but this is the biggest moment yet. And that's a pop-up. Medium shallow center field. Perez is under it. Fires in. And the Tigers plate 1. Brandon Marsh now faces Ben Joyce. And that's crushed. Deep center field. Perez to the track. And he's got it. Throw comes in. The runner goes up to 3rd. But that's a big out from Joyce. Joyce is 1 good pitch away from getting out of this. The 2-2. He struck him out. Slider away. Rays take a lead into the 9th. The Rays extended the lead to 5-2 in the top of the 9th, but are now the Tigers now have 2 on. Luis Fernandez is in. And that one misses. The bases are now loaded, and the winning run will come to the plate in Trey Sweeney. And that's grounded. Right field line, it's a fair ball. Headed to the corner. Throw comes in, but the Tigers put up 2, and runners will be on the corners with nobody out. Bottom of the 9th. Luis Fernandez is going to get pulled, and Tyler Holton will come in to face Max Clark. And that's popped up. Riley Green in left. Catches it. Throw comes to the plate. And it's up the line, and the Tigers tie the game. The bullpen blows up. The Rays now tied with the Tigers. And DeLuca flies it up. Right field, 2 down. And that's a ground ball to second base. Torres, quick throw to first, and we are headed to extra innings as the Rays bullpen blows it in Game 5. Here's the 2-2 from Loizaga. And he struck him out. Holton back in to work the bottom half of the 10th. Full count. Holton, the game in his glove. Right at the plate, and the pitch. Grounded. Into the hole, that's going to get through for a base hit. So Holton will have to face Keith. Runner on first, 2 outs. And that's going to be lined up the middle for a base hit. Back-to-back base hits. Bottom of the 10th. Tigers have the winning run on second base. 1-2 the count. Cuero at the plate. And here's Holton. And he strikes him out. We're ahead of the 11th. And now it's up to Nolan Shonowell in the top of the 11th. And Shonowell swings at the first pitch, breaks his bat, and weakly pops out to third. We're headed to the bottom half of the 11th. It's now 3-2 to Dingler. Johnny Brito delivers, and he strikes him out. We're headed to the 12th. And Edwards grounds that one up the middle. Shortstop, running play, and a scoop over at first. They throw him out. We're headed to the bottom of the 12th. And Brito hits Marsh. That'll be a leadoff base runner in the bottom of the 12th. 1-2. Hit hard and through the gap on the left side. 2 runners on now. And Jonah Bride swings at the first pitch and hits a laser into left. Throw goes to third. It's up the line, and the Tigers walk it off in the 12th. What an unbelievable game. The Rays blow it in the 9th and then blow it in extras. We're headed back to the Trop. A deciding game. Austin Fredrickson will start against Mitch Spence. Westburg gets a solo shot for the Tigers, and they're up 1-0 as Burleson steps in with the runner on. Takes the first pitch for a strike. And that is grounded to third base. Could be 2, and it is. The Tigers get out of it again. Mason Montgomery's in with Graham Williamson at the plate. 1 runner on, 1 out. The 1-1. And that's drilled. That's going to be in the gap. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Williamson with a big hit. Riley Greens racing around third. And there's no play. Williamson ties it up with an RBI double in the bottom of the 6th. The biggest hit of his career. 2 strikes down to Shonowell. Montgomery to the plate. And that's grounded to third base. The Tigers get out of it, but the Rays even up the score at 1. Count is full to Williamson. Elimination game in the Trop. And he strikes out. We're headed to the 9th. Full count. 1 strike away from heading to the bottom of the 9th. And the pitch. And that's in. That's a walk. Base runner for the Tigers. 2-2 pitch. And that's hit hard. Deep left center field. Back to the track, to the wall, that's gone. Austin Wells with a 2-run shot at the top of the 9th. Detroit now takes pole position as Fernandez blows another relief opportunity. The Rays are now on the ropes. Fernandez gives up a 2-run shot. Wells with the biggest swing of his career. 2-strike count to Dingler. And he struck him out. But Fernandez gives up 2, and the Rays need 2 in the 9th. Austin Wells with a 2-run shot. And who else but Yohan Duran is in. Reliever of the year with a 2-run lead. First pitch is in there for a strike. Elimination game in the Trop. And he strikes him out. That's 1 down. Nolan Shonowell with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Shaunerwell not able to tie up Duran just yet. Here's the 1-2 again. Struck him out. That's 2 away. And Gleyber Torres. The Tigers 1 out away from the World Series berth. That fastball's in there. Strike 1. Crowd is on their feet, anxiously hoping that the Rays can put something together with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Down to their final strike. Duran to the plate. Struck him out, and Duran strikes out the side. The Tigers defeat the best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays. And that is going to do it for their season, losing in the ALCS. The Tigers will face the Mets in the World Series in a heartbreaking finish to the Rays season. The Tigers do end up defeating the Mets, so the Rays lose to the eventual World Series winners. We're going to clear these stats because we're not going to be in them, and we're headed to, once again, another offseason. No inductees to the Hall of Fame. We cashed in a lot to try to win a World Series this year, and I'm so glad that we made it to the playoffs. There were some exciting moments, but as it goes in the playoffs, you get cold for one series, and it doesn't matter if you won 106 games in the regular season. It all comes down to those games in October. So we'll have to regroup and work through the offseason. We had a lot of guys who were at the end of their contracts. Rasmussen, Burleson, Rocchio, Edwards, Torres, and Romero, some key pieces of our team. I'm going to think through what I want to do. All of our staff is going to be here for this next year. We don't need to hire anybody else there. As far as guys that we know are coming back, Riley Green and Bryce Miller will be here all the way through the end of our run, which would be 2034. This will be McClanahan's last year, the Cy Young winner. 2 more years of Wenzel Perez, and of course, Graham Williamson will be here through the end of the rebuild. Steven Figueroa will be here through the second to last year. Several other guys have 1 more year left. So we're at $143 million with the guys that are already locked up. Estimates for arbitration and renewals, $40 million. We're losing some free agents. I'll have to think through if I want to bring these guys back or start a little bit from scratch or bring anybody up from the minors. So I'm going to start doing that, and hopefully we can get ready to mount another very strong season and another playoff push. We're going to start by offering Drew Rasmussen to come back for 1 more year. He's been so good for us. 70 innings at the minimum each year, oftentimes to a low 2 ERA. Last year he was excellent, and I really like him in that long relief role. He may start to regress a little bit. This will be his age 35 season, but we got plenty of guys behind him too. So we're going to offer 1 year, $8 million. We'll see if he accepts that. Otherwise, we'll see if we want to go after him in free agency. Xavier Edwards wants $18 million for 1 year. I'm going to bump that up to 18.5. He has been an unbelievable DH for us. Last 2 seasons, 6.1 WAR. Even if he has a little bit of a regression to a 3.7 WAR season, I still think that would be worth the contract. So we are going to bring back, hopefully, Xavier Edwards. Those are the only 2 guys I'm going to offer here. We're going to let Burleson walk for now, at least. Obviously, we can look back at him in free agency. Same with Rocchio for now. And then Gleyber Torres, we're going to let him walk, and we are going to let Jojo Romero walk. He's been really good. I may change my mind and go back after him, but he does seem to kind of have if you just look at his history, has a bad year, has a good year, has a bad year, has a good year, has a decent year, has a good year. So I think we may look for another lefty. We've got other good options. So that is everything I'm doing here during the exclusive negotiations. And as it always seems to go, neither Rasmussen nor Xavier Edwards accepted those contracts, so we will have to pursue them or other guys in free agency. Quick pit stop here to check in on Junior. Another tough year for him. Just wasn't able to do it with the Royals or with us, so it's unfortunate to see. Despite a couple of tough games for Luis Fernandez at the end of the season, I am not going to give up on him. He is so awesome and unique in many ways. He still went 59 out of 64 in his save opportunities and just had a couple of rough ones in the playoffs. So I'm going to continue to believe in Fernandez, and I offered him $28 million for 4 years for the rest of our rebuild, and hopefully next time he's up in big spots like that, he'll have some experience to draw on, and I just want to continue to watch Fernandez. I think he's sick. I've already offered Xavier Edwards 3 years at $16 million. He's just been so good. Back-to-back years of 6 WAR. I mean, the fact that he only wants $18 million is kind of nuts. So we're going to try to bring him back and continue to DH for us. The main position that we need to fill kind of early is second base. I looked through to see if there was any trades, and I didn't love any options, just getting started here in the first week. So second base is one, and then we're going to have to consider shortstop and right field. Those are going to be the main spots that we need. I think we've got everything else figured out and locked up. So I've got Triolo and Keith on here as two, I think they're the two best second basemen available. One of the things I really like about Keith is he's got 95 contact versus lefties, and that is something that we were lacking a little bit last year. When I was putting up the lineups against lefties, there wasn't too many guys that can do a lot of damage versus lefties. Triolo's a little bit more well-rounded and plays great defense, so he's a good option. He's a good on-base guy. He had a breakout year in 2028, but that was only 60 games. So I would say that Colt Keith is my number one, and Triolo, I don't know if I would even offer a contract to Triolo. I still got to think about it, but those are the two guys on the board for second base, and then Xavier Edwards hopefully will come back. Shake things up a little bit in right field next year. Obviously, we lost Burleson, and going to move off of another guy in right field that you might be thinking of. And I like Akil Baddoo. He's 32, 85 overall. He's got 4 more years on his deal here, and he did have a kind of an outlier breakout season last year of 8 WAR, but seasons before that was 5.5, and then he can consistently give you 2 at this point in his career. And I like his stats overall. He can also play left and center, so a little bit of flexibility. Who I'm giving up? I'm gonna give up Dalton Rushing, and he wants like 8-9 mil here in arbitration, and he's a great catcher, but we've got Williamson, and if Williamson goes down, I've got Eduardo Tate here, who is on a renewable contract for 3 more years, who can play a backup catcher, and he's got really good defense, decent enough hitting stats. So I'm going to be willing to give them rushing, and then they also want a starting pitcher. So we're going to just continue to cash in on prospects. We just drafted Rivas last year, so he probably won't play for us in this timeline. So yeah, we're going to make this move, and Akil Baddoo is going to play right. And Xavier Edwards is making a contract decision. Not good enough. Oh, sorry, my phone must be malfunctioning, showing your offer as a joke and his motivation's dropping. Okay, thought we were on better terms than that after what we've been through here, but we'll give you another shot here. First base is a position that I need to plan a little bit for the future. We've only got 1 more year of Shawnuel, who's been great to us, but I don't know if I'm going to end up bringing him back after that. And the next in line would be Trey Morgan, who is good, and he has had a little bit of playing time in the MLB. He's really a defensive specialist, though, and the ability to play right field, but he's slow, 29 speed, just well-rounded hitting stats, but I'm not convinced that he's going to be our next guy. So I am looking to get this 19-year-old new draft pick first baseman from the White Sox. They are loaded in with a lot of good draft picks.
And what they want is a second baseman at third base, and they need guys who can play now. They want second base, third base, left field, and right field. And I have guys that can do that for them. So Braden Taylor, who is a very solid player, also going to be pretty cheap, and I don't really need him. And we're going to be going with Figueroa and Guillen as our two guys for third base. And then I'm going to give up on Nilo here. We just brought in Badu. We've got Samuel, who simulates better than Nilo already. So unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the road for the very first draft pick that we took, and we are going to trade for Isaac Kirk.
Price of the brick's gone up for Emerson Hancock. Absolute legend of this rebuild. I don't really want to get rid of him, but he's asking for $14 million, and we just have too many other good starter options that will be cheaper and close to as good. So we're going to trade him to the Nationals, who are looking for starters, and I just want one of their decent reliever prospects, Bobby Arrington. One of those starters that's coming up is going to be Hancock 2.0, Elvis Fabregas. I think he's probably going to start next year. Going to go ahead and help the Guardians shore up their pitching a little bit here. They're looking for starters. I'm going to give them a decent prospect here in Eric Torres. He's kind of got low stamina, but good stats all around the board. A lot of room for growth. He'll be a decent pitcher for them in a handful of years, 3-4 years. And I'm also going to give them one who can start now, who's been kind of had an up and down career. Dylan Lesko. We've seen him at different points, but I just don't really have a use for him. And I think the Guardians could use him. And I want to shore up our shortstop depth. Pretty thin here beyond Carson Williams, and the Guardians have a decent prospect here in David Torres. So, gonna make this move, and there we go. All right, round 2 with Edwards, still not in there. I definitely lowballed him this time, so I understand that one. You can see on the screen here, a couple big signings have been done here. First of all, we signed Luis Fernandez down there at the bottom on 11-11 to his 4-year, $28 million contract. So he'll be here slinging it sidearm for the rest of this rebuild. And then up a little bit, kind of in the middle, Roki Sasaki re-signed with the Dodgers, 7 years, $230. And then James Wood is going to the Tigers, who just won the World Series. They're getting better. 7 years, $192. I would not be surprised if we run into them again in the playoffs here pretty soon. Junior Caminero has found a new home, 6 years, $17 million to the A's. Maybe that is finally the spot where he breaks out. Colt Keith decision coming, and he's in. First try, 3 years, $15 million, coming into play second base and mash lefties for us. Beautiful. And yet another big splash here. The Dodgers signed PCA, 6 years, $25 million. The best shortstop on the board, Coulson Montgomery, is going to the Diamondbacks. And things are coming together. Xavier Edwards finally says yes. I kept lowballing him because nobody else was really offering him. So he's coming back, 3 years, 14. 3 more guys headed out as we're really just overhauling kind of the entire system. We're doing a 3-for-1 here. I want an infielder who can hit lefties well, another one who can play short and third. This will all make sense in a little bit, but Costello looks like a good option. He's got plenty of time on a renewable contract, which is great. And all the guys that I'm giving to the Braves are all on a renewable contract too, and they're all decent players, but I just don't have room for them anymore. So I'm going to make this trade here with the Braves, and we're close to all the moves you really want to make. So getting there. Best catcher on the board, headed to the Diamondbacks, William Contreras, 4 years, $20 million. Another lengthy offseason, a transformative offseason behind us. Budget's coming in at $207 million. We cut about $40 million from last year. And we've got a lot of familiar faces, but some new ones too. Green and Miller at the top. McClanahan in his last year. I haven't decided if I'm going to extend him or not. He wants about $30 million per year. Colt Keith and Akil Baddoo are 2 new faces with long-term deals, second base and right field respectively. We've still got Perez will play center. Xavier Edwards is coming back to DH, 3 more years there. Of course, Williamson, 4 more years left before we're done with this rebuild. Shonawil in his last year at first, Figueroa 3 more at third. And then another big signing was 4 more years of the side armor, Luis Fernandez. He's coming back. Holton's back.
So, and Brito's back. So, some familiar faces really for most of the team. Why I say I think we're in the best position. I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get into the next episode. But if you just go through our different spots, I mean, I don't even need to go into the closers, relievers, and starters. We've got plenty of depth there. But just looking across the board, if you look, we're just really well spread out and have guys at every level, at every position, who are in position to eventually come up when we need them. And I guess maybe third base is the one spot where that's not the case. But just as I flip through here, every position has a ton of depth with all good players, and we've traded so many of those pitchers and relievers that we've drafted over the years to get to this position. And I showed all the moves along the way. And so, yeah, we'll be taking on the Blue Jays here on opening day. Look forward to seeing you there when Bryce Miller takes the hill once again. I wish we could have got the World Series this year. We came up just short. The Tigers came out firing, and we did not. So hopefully this is the year that we are playing in the World Series. And I'll see you next episode.